Greetings to one and all. Greetings with lots of love and light. I was talking to someone the other day about the difference between Satan and Lucifer. Lucifer's the fallen angel, known as the light bringer, fell from heaven when there was the battle in heaven. You know, he sent him and other angels, tried to take over heaven, and they got thrown out because they lost in the battle against Michael and his angels. Anyway, so Lucifer is a fallen angel. Satan is the adversary. We don't know much about Satan, really, apart from the fact that he's the adversary. But I'm pretty convinced that these two are two different entities. Lucifer and Satan are not the same entities in my view. Whether they're both devils, well, that's something else. But I wanted to talk about the old devil's horns, the horned fingers that we often see people do. I was quite shocked the other day to see one of my favourite YouTube bloggers using it at the end of one of his shows, doing the old horned fingers at us all. I'm kind of concerned as to why people do that. I know many people do symbolism without realising what they're doing. Many people do the old horned fingers when they're at a rock concert, thinking they're doing it to be at one with their rock bands. Though most rock groups don't actually do demonic music, very few of them do. AC/DC was one of my favourite rock groups when I was into that in the day. Many people were doing the old horned fingers, devil horns at them as they're playing, but most of their songs are love songs rather than demonic songs. But I'm also noticing it in a lot of shows these days, this demonic fingers, these horned fingers. Odd characters suddenly do them, sometimes in my favourite shows as well, which is a bit of a shame. You know, is it their allegiance to the dark side? Is it some kind of part of their contract to make sure that they're successful because they've shown that they have their allegiance to the dark forces? Who is the horned fingers, devil horns to? Is it just the devil? And which one is that? Is it to Satan? Is it to Lucifer? I don't know. But I've been quite concerned that it's turning up in more and more shows that I like, and more musicians are doing it. And I know it's been seen, there's lots of people do shows about all this, the Illuminati. You can go and find out more research about it. I was a big fan of Eminem, so I did actually watch the halftime Super Bowl because I do like Eminem. And at the end, Dr. Dre suddenly threw out, you know, when they've saying their goodbyes to everyone, threw out the old devil's horns. Quite surprised to see Dr. Dre doing it. And then again, no, I'm not, am I? Has he sold his soul to the devil? But thankfully Eminem stood beside him and threw up the peace sign at the same time. And I think the peace sign counteracts the devil's horns. So whenever I see any of these TV show characters using it, I tend to quickly throw up a peace sign at them. If I see anybody else using it, or, you know, I know people do it quite a bit without realising they're doing it. I normally do a little secret peace sign towards them. Though some people say the peace sign was created by Mr. Aleister Crowley himself. In the times of war, you know, he gave it to Winston Churchill in counteraction to the Nazi salute. You know, I love a bit of Uncle Al, and I think deep down he really knew how to develop the will. I think he writes one of the best books ever on how to develop the will. I'm not into all of his other magical things, but I just think he understood it. Maybe he was misunderstood. But I decided to try and find out, where did this horned fingers, devil horns come from? Where did it originate? In some countries it's used to ward off bad luck and the evil eye. So again, isn't that weird that it's used for helping one against evil in some countries, but in other countries it's seen as being a salutation to the devil? In yoga there's the Apana Mudra, which again is the same symbolism, of same putting of the fingers as this devil's horns, but the Apana Mudra is a purification mudra that detoxifies the body and purifies the body. So it's doing a good thing, and one is recommended to do it when in the lotus pose. But what I notice is that when you're doing that, your hand is being held out and down, not up in the air like they do at the rock concerts. One of the when I was looking into where did the devil's horns are in rock and roll originate from. The furthest research back I could find was through the group Coven and their album Witchcraft Destroys Minds and Reaps. Well, I don't know what it reaps. I forgot to write it down. Oh, Reaps Souls, that's it. Common in their album Witchcraft Destroys Minds and Reaps Souls, which I'm pretty sure I've never heard. I might have heard it when I was younger in my rock and roll days and just not been aware of it. Maybe I need to look this album up. But apparently the Devil's Horns was used in the cover art of that, and maybe that's where it all came from. Who knows? You know, I like rock and roll. Everybody likes a bit of rock and roll in some way or other. But most rock and roll isn't about demonic call-ins, rituals or whatever. Most of it's about love songs. Love. Well, Aleister Crowley says love underwill. Sometimes I wonder what is right on that. You know, love seems to make the world go round, but then it's misused love. But then we need the will developed so that we understand what true love is. So I think Mr. Crowley was right about that. Develop they will. Do what they will should be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under will. And I've said that using the peace sign.